morning, everybody. It is time today for garden tour number 4. All right, since the last time we checked the garden out, our peas have died finally, so we pulled them out. We got some sunflowers growing, trying to. And give some room for our green beans, which are full of beans. I still haven't done anything with the lettuce because I've been preoccupied with everything else. Our cucumbers are crazy. We picked about 8 good-sized cucumbers out of here last night. There's baby girl's garden. Our chamomile is blooming all over the place. Our tomatoes are trying. They've got tomatoes all over them. Look at these little cucamelons. How cute are those? Oh, they're crazy. And they're all over the fence. I have cucamelons, believe it or not, on this trellis as well. They're underneath. The other has taken it over, but there's still some cucamelons on there, so that is good. Our cucumbers have outgrown our trellis. We moved the pea trellis to this side to try to keep them kind of contained, or at least keep them out of the walk path. And we've got some yellowing underneath. I've trimmed a lot of yellow out. Everything's been getting a good trim. Look at the blooms on that cucumbers, those cucumbers there. Ain't that crazy? And these on this side. It's insane, insane. Our banana peppers are doing good. They are putting on a ton. Marigolds need deadheaded. My loofahs are finally starting to grow. They're almost to the trellis. Looks like that one grabbed on last night. Baby girl's gourds are full of blooms. Thankfully, I've seen an increase in bees, which is good. Look at that corn. Holy moly. We're starting to get tassels and silk and some of the bigger ones. Aren't them gorgeous? We did have a pretty good windstorm that came through, a couple days ago, 2-3 days ago. And that's what happened. This is actually a sight better than it was. But there's a few of them that are broke that we need to come in and take out. The later planting is growing a little bit slower. Butternut's blooming. We got some yellow in there too. I'm gonna come in this evening. You see quite a bit of big old yellow leaf there that I need to take out. The Kentucky Wonder pole beans are growing, but they're not doing anything yet. So if any of you have grown this variety and could tell me how long it takes for them to put on, I would greatly appreciate that. And there's another big yellow leaf. And the bees. There's a butternut squash right there. The pole beans are going. The boys put up this giant, like 10-foot set of poles for me. I don't even, like, it's way up there. But the scarlet runners are just blooming like crazy. Cave beans are growing. I've not seen blooms, so I don't know. And I don't know what these do, so we'll see. This zucchini is crazy. There's a couple of leaves that are gonna have to come out of there. Taking a few off here and there. There's our other Kentucky Wonder beans. And they're growing. Spaghetti squash is the most prolific thing I've ever seen. Like, look at that. There's spaghetti squash everywhere. There's a little teeny zucchini down there. We picked a couple of really good zucchinis off this plant yesterday. We're gonna fry them up tonight. This thing that we've been having some issues with our squash, particularly because we've been having blossom end rot issues, which I'm going to doctor with some calcium, and we'll see if that helps things. I mean, they're putting on so much, you know, losing one or two. It's not like I'm losing everything, so, but I'm still going to try to doctor it some. We've had some cucumbers do that as well. There is the popcorn, which I don't know what it's doing. I mean, it's getting taller, but, you know, doesn't seem to be doing much. These melons. So I needed to come up with something to try to keep these melons in. So I got some of this nylon mesh trellising, put in some T-posts, stretched it. We're just gonna try it and see how it does. It doesn't seem like to me it's got that much support to it, but the plants are growing all over it, so they're also growing all over the ground. They're just kind of everywhere. We got some little melons. The cantaloupes have got blooms everywhere. And that sunflower is actually doing good. Rulo broke my sunflower that was on that side when we were putting the trellis in. So that's okay. This little beauty here, I put in last week. We've got a big old sage plant. A couple of echinaceas in the corners. This is a blanket flower that is starting to bloom, and then we've got some calendula coming up in there that I kind of just planted everywhere, and this little purple flower, I'm not sure what that is. I can't remember. I planted some nasturtium here. Looks like got a couple coming up here and there, and then all of these blocks have various herbs and flowers planted in them, and they seem to be coming up fairly well, except the nasturtium, which are in there. But I didn't know if they would come up because it's pretty shaded right there. But I just thought the bird bath needed something around it, so I had some concrete blocks laying around, put that together. Got some Malabar spinach from my mom, started there. It is growing. We're gonna run it up to the top of the fence. I had to put a stake in for my sunflowers because of the storms that we've been having. Parsley has been trimmed. It needs trimmed some more. That's insane. No one can use that much parsley. Sweet potatoes. Morning glories. Chamomile has gone crazy. Calendula, look, is putting a flower. That's since the other day. That wasn't there the other day. Bee balm. Yarrow. Lavender. It's a slow grower, but it's growing, so keep the stuff out of it. There is morning glories. Beautiful. All the way up. This is the bed we redid. Look at those potatoes. We actually had all come up except for 4. That's pretty good. They look awesome. All right, tomatoes and peppers. We have tomatoes everywhere, on everything. The peppers are doing pretty good. We've got poblanos that are putting on. Sugar rushes, which are the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Jalapenos. Them tomatoes. Just everywhere. Tomatillas are just full. I've been getting, I don't know, 8, 10, 15 a day off of the plants. Get a little bit of yellowing going on with the leaves. Not sure. Got some of our sweet peppers putting on. A couple of real good coral bells. Banana peppers, of course. These are habanados. And I don't know. They were looking real good. Now they're looking kind of... I'm starting to put one on. They're looking kind of pale. Probably need to do something. Some kind of treatment for them. We've got all kinds of tomatoes. They're just crazy. Crazy, crazy. Bell peppers, basil is starting to flower. So if you want to talk about prolific, these blueberries, cherry tomatoes are ridiculous. The amount of tomatoes that these two plants have put on is just crazy. Tomatillas, some yellow, more yellow leaves. Look at that. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Here's a better look at these sugar rushes. They're supposed to turn peach when they're ready. They're almost translucent looking when they first come on. So crazy. There's some cayenne. That bush. Very cool. All right, tomatoes. More tomatoes. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes are everywhere. We're lucky with all the rain that we've had. The tomatoes are actually looking pretty good. Haven't had any issues with blossom end rot with the tomatoes to speak of. Look at that. I've had to go through and tie branches up because they're just there's too much weight on them. And they're not wanting to hold the weight of the tomatoes. So, but I keep my tomatoes heavily pruned at the bottoms and in between the plants because they're so close together. And I really feel like that's made a difference in how well they're doing And if we can just get some of them to get ripe. And here's another one that I have questions about. The Brad's Atomic Grape. Anybody out there grown these? Because everything I've read says they take a long time to ripen. Look at that. Look how crazy that is. It's still hard as a rock. So, I don't know. I don't know if they really honestly take that long or what. I guess that maybe they do. But if you've grown them, let me know what you think. Alright guys, that is it. Everything is growing. We've got some yellowing issues. We've got some calcium issues we're going to have to deal with. But by and large, everything's doing real good. We're real happy with it. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and have a great day. I'm off to work in the garden.